Hello everyone, welcome to Wing Paper Crafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you've all decided to join me today. Today we're going to do our second set of alternatives for the March 2026 paper pumpkin kit called Fluttering Garden. And here are the 9 cards that you could have made had you done this kit as intended. But as you know, we changed things up around here, so we're going to do a couple of alternatives today. So let's see, as we start here, if I could ask you, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would really appreciate it if you do. I'm trying to grow this community and I can't do that without all of you. So we're going to start today with this one. So we're going to start with a piece of smoky slate that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to give this a nice burnish here so it lays nice and flat. I have a piece of basic white for the inside that's 5 by 4 1/4. And then I've got here one of the envelopes that was in this kit. And I'll show you what that looks like here right quick. So this was the complete envelope here. And I cut this front panel off and I cut this down to 4 by 4.5. And then I took it and I sliced it into 3 equal pieces of 1.5 by 4. And so we're going to put this on the front of our card. So let's turn our card this way because we're going to do a landscape card with this. And we're going to take these pieces here, if I can get them back around here, and we're just going to layer them on here, something like this. So let's get some glue here and we'll flip those over. Now, I'm going to try not to put too much glue on these because they are, you know, not cardstock. They're envelope paper, so it's kind of thin. And if you put too much glue on the envelope paper, it will wrinkle and you'll be able to see the glue through it. Okay, so let's make sure we've got our card oriented the right way. And I'm just kind of going to set the 2 end ones on here. And then try to get our spacing right before I commit too much here. So we'll get this middle one in here. I think we can scoot these over just a little bit here. I don't think we need quite that much room on in the middle. Maybe, let's see. I think it'd be easier to do it this way. So let's get this one down. If I can. There we go. Now, let's scoot this one over just a tad bit. And then we'll scoot this one over because it's too far to the left. And I knew that it was going to get too sticky down there. But let me see if I can get it up without ripping it. There we go. It won't show. So let's just put a little bit more glue on here. And we'll get this down like so. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we'll commit to that. And we'll get just a little bit of glue right here on the corner because it doesn't have any. Alright, so there's that. Now, we are going to take a couple of the hummingbirds that are in the kit, and we're going to pop those up on here, something like this. And then out of there's an old retired set of circles called deckled circles, and I cut one out of this same pool party color and one out of white, and we're going to stamp on the white one. So let's just kind of put this to the side for a second. We're going to stamp in basic gray. And on the circle, I'm going to stamp one of the stamps that was in the kit. And it is the birthday wishes. And then on the inside, we're going to put from an old stamp set that was this beautiful butterflies. I'm going to use this time to celebrate on our inside. So let's go ahead and ink up our birthday wishes. Get our ink out of the way here. So let's just see if we can get this down in the middle. And that looks pretty good. And then on the inside, we'll do our, oops, not that one. We will do our time to celebrate. Hang on a second. Oops. Block this up here. Try to straighten that up. Okay, so we'll get our time to celebrate inked up. Line that up. We'll get this down right like that. There we go. Okay, we'll put the ink away. And we're going to put this in the middle of this circle. Just like this. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, we're going to pop this circle and our 2 hummingbirds up on some dimensionals. So let's get this down on the inside first. Right in here. There we go. Alright, so let's grab some dimensionals here. And we're going to use big ones for the circle. And one more. And we'll get the backs off of these. And we're just going to put this right up here in this upper right hand corner. So just like that. And then we'll use some mini dimensionals for our hummingbirds. Just because we don't want the big ones to show. And let's get one more right up here. We'll take the backs off of these. Maybe. That one did not want to let go. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, so this little bird is going to go over here. We'll put him down like that. And then let's do this one. One more maybe. Okay. I got an extra. There we go. And let's see, we've got a back stuck here. That off of there. Alright, so our other hummingbird is going to go right down here. So just like that. Now we're going to put some bling. We're going to use these gems that came in the kit here. So let's get a big one and we'll put somewhere, let's see, how about right here, and then a little one over here, upside down, there we go, and then one more little one right down here. Okay, so there is our birthday card. All right, now for our second card, we're going to start with a piece of Pretty Peacock that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We'll give this a nice good burnish there. I have a piece of basic white 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. We've got, this is a piece of pattern paper that came out of an old paper pack, and we've used some of this side of this before, but I thought this looked pretty good. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to put this down first. It's almost a shame to cover up this pretty flowers, but I really liked just the simpleness of this other side of this. So we're going to center this up, quite possibly, maybe, if we can, there we go, get that maneuver it around there. Okay, so we're going to do another horizontal card. So then I've got another piece of Pretty Peacock that I used the branching out dies to cut this. And then another piece of basic white, and we're going to stamp on this, and then we're going to put that right there in the middle. We're going to stamp in Pretty Peacock. Okay, so on the outside of this, we're also going to use that basic gray again as well. So I'm going to take this little flower piece here that was in the kit. We're going to stamp this in some basic gray. So let's ink this up. And basically what I want to do is I want to put this down here in each of these bottom corners. So I'm just going to try to angle this so it sits just right down here in the corner. Just like that. And we'll ink this up again. And we're going to go down in this corner. See if I can get that down there. Perfect. Okay. Now, the sentiment that we're going to use is also in the kit, and it says, "Wishing you a happy anniversary." So we're going to use this one, and we're going to do again on the inside. I want to do the same time to celebrate that we used just a second ago. So let me put the gray ink away because I think we're done with that. And let me find my stamp chamois here so we can clean this off, because I don't want to get, you know, gray ink inside our Pretty Peacock there. So let's go ahead and do the inside first. So we're just going to do the time to celebrate again here. And we'll get that down right here. Okay, and the reason I did this first is because I need this block for our happy anniversary stamp. So let me peel this off here, put that to the side, and then we'll get our anniversary stamp here mounted on the block. Perfect. Okay, put that to the side. We're going to bring this back. So in this Pretty Peacock ink, I'm going to ink up this "Wishing you a happy anniversary" stamp, and I'm just going to put that right here in the middle. Kind of tried to center between our two little flower clusters there. Perfect. Okay, we'll put this ink away. Now, I'm going to take a Stampin' Blend here. What are we going to use? We're going to use light Calypso Coral. And I'm going to use the brush end of this. And I'm just going to go in here and just color in these little flower pod things that are at the end of this. It just gives it a little pop of color. And it's pretty quick to do because there's not that many of them. And we'll get these over here. Alright, a couple more. Perfect. Okay, so that gives it just a little bit of color. So we're going to take this and we're going to put this onto our mat here. So we're going to center this up in here, just like that. Okay, and then we'll get this piece on the inside. And we'll center this up in here. I am having a trouble times today to get that to wiggle around. Okay, so that looks good. Now, we're going to take this piece here. I'm going to pop this whole thing up on some dimensionals just to give it a little bit of height. So let's see if I have enough full ones on this sheet here that's left. If not, we'll be cutting some, but it looks like we're going to have just enough. Alright, so we'll get our backs off of these. One more. Okay. Now, we're going to take this and center it right up here on our card base. Just like this. And that really needs to go to the right just a tad bit. Oh my goodness, it's another one of those days where everything I do is crooked. Alright, there we go. Now, we're going to take our same bling that was in the kit that we used a second ago. And we'll get off some of these and we'll just put one here. And another one there. I keep sticking it to my hand instead of the card. And one more. Oh no, I did it. Okay, there we go. Right. I have it upside down. But right there, if it'll stay. Oh my goodness. I think that one bit the dust. Let's get another one. Like the sticky came off of it somewhere in my travels. There we go. Perfect. And there we go. So here are the 2 cards that we made today. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. And I will be back tomorrow with Fun Fold Friday. So I hope to see you all back then. Have a crafty evening. Bye.